Aloha guys, Dr. Thomas coming back at you. And I have to apologize. For some reason, like a dummy, I skipped over Chapter 2 in Med Law, or Medical Law and Ethics. So we're going to catch Chapter 2 now. I know it'll be ready for week 2, but you haven't had your first test yet, so we'll have it ready for that. I'm sorry. And we'll do the other ones. So we're talking about Chapter 2, Laws and Regulations. This is a second PowerPoint in week 1. We're not going to go over the objectives. But we are going to go into the introduction of healthcare laws, regulations, and business protocols. As a medical office professional, you want to be aware of medical practice laws and regulations. Oh, yeah. Guys, as long as you do the right thing, you'll be all right. But you need to know what the right things are. It's not real complicated, but it's some. The nature of your employment, discrimination, sexual harassment, healthcare laws, regulation, union membership, collective bargaining. This may not be. I like unions, but there's not really many in the healthcare. Okay, government regulation of healthcare providers. Medical practice laws control the practice of medicine, in each state. State legislatures establish state medical boards with authority to control healthcare provider licensing. Yes. And that's true of all different doctors as nurses, and there's some other ones as well. Licensing boards grant, renew, and revoke licenses. Physicians to submit reports under circumstances. Child and elder abuse. We'll go over that some more. Controlled Substances Acts restrict distribution, classification, sale, and use of certain drugs. Now, why is that a problem, guys? Because medical doctors, I'm a chiropractic doctor, not a medical doctor, so I can't prescribe medicine, and I'm glad, because it's a big responsibility. There's a lot of abuse of it. There's people bugging you for medication, and there are physicians and nurses and other ones that are taking it for fun, some instances. Employment Law 3, Discrimination Law does not allow employees to ask questions concerning race, religion, age, or whether a woman is pregnant. In other words, if you're getting ready to hire somebody, you can't ask them what their age is and what their religion is, things like that. Pre-employment testing ensures that tests will only measure skills and abilities necessary to do the job. Drug testing is necessary to ensure public safety, although, some do it and some don't. Equal opportunity employment prohibits employment based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. That's worded a little bit oddly, but you can't discriminate against people for these reasons. Drug testing. Employers allowed to test potential employees as part of hiring process. Yeah, from what I've seen, it's usually the insurance companies that demand it, but there's less and less of it. Because more and more states are legalizing marijuana, for example. EEOC, I don't know what that is, Ralph Han, I'm sorry. Administers and enforces Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 64. Okay. More employment law. Now, guys, you might think, Dr. Tom, why are we going over this? Well, let's say you're a medical assistant and you get hired and you do a good job, and 4 or 5 years down the road, you're the manager of the office. Well, you'll be dealing with these kind of things. Disparate treatment does not allow employers to treat employees differently because of their race, sex, religion, or national origin. Disparate impact ensures employers do not treat employees differently in an adverse manner on a particularly protected group. For example, a minimum height requirement may discriminate against women. Okay. Family and medical leave. Let's see. The Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, which is this, require employees of 50 or more to provide up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave each year for serious health condition of employee, member of employee's immediate family, or for the birth or adoption of a child. I think that's good. Guys, now look what the key word is here. Unpaid. Where's that? But a lot of them don't even want to do that. But apparently have to. ADA, this is important. Americans with Disabilities Act covers physical as well as mental disabilities in employment, public services, public accommodations, telecommunications. You can't discriminate against people for that, although I don't know, guys, if their impairment or disability precluded them from doing the job, then I would think you would be able to. Federal Age Discrimination Employment Act, 1960, covers age discrimination, protects rights of older workers. Technically, guys, you can't even ask a person when they're applying for a job how old they are. Equal Pay Act. The act was passed in 1963 to end the practice of paying women less than men for the same job. But I think it still goes on some. Fair Labor Standards Act establishes federal minimum wage, mandates an extra pay for overtime, regulates the employment of children. Guys, my experience has been if you don't have these kind of laws in effect, there'll be some companies that will treat their employees quite good, and there's some of them that will take advantage of them and would work them as slaves if they could get by with it, in my opinion. Workers' comp. Workers' compensation laws are administered by state governments and create a mandatory insurance system that reimburses employees for losses sustained because of work-related injury or disease, regardless of fault. But if you get hurt on the job or get sick, there is your medical bill should be paid, and you should be allowed, if you're missing some of your work, you should be reimbursed for that. And it does, but they're not pleasant to deal with. Okay, Social Security includes several different but related programs. There's retirement Social Security. Individual becomes eligible at age 62. You can first start drawing it at that, but you have to get the full amount. You got to wait till later. Retirement benefits require a total of 40 quarters or 10 years of work credit from covered employment. So in other words, guys, if you were a stay-home mom, for example, and you didn't work for your entire life, you don't have any Social Security or very little. So you have to pay into it to get some. Now, you can also get Social Security if you're disabled. Benefits are paid to individuals who are disabled. Any medical condition prevents an individual from being gainfully employed may be considered disability. When you see these ads that attorneys put on about Social Security disability, that's what it is, because it's hard to get. Because now, if you're seriously, my brother has diabetic retinopathy. He's blind because of diabetes. Not entirely, but a lot. And with something like that, where there's no argument about it, a few years ago when he could no longer drive, he was a truck driver, he was able to get it without any hassle. But a lot of people have to fight to get. Now, again, this is different than the retirement one. This one you can be 25 years old and get if you're disabled. But, of course, it's abused, guys. Yeah, yes, it is. There's people that are able to work and want to get that little measly $1,000 a month or whatever it is. It's not a lot. Dependent survivor benefits. See, certain dependents of a retired or disabled worker are eligible for monthly benefits if the worker is eligible for retirement disability. Surviving family members of a deceased worker may be entitled to survivor benefit. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but like children, if they lose a parent, they can draw that on that parent's Social Security. Okay, Medicare is a federal insurance program for people who are entitled to Medicare from their Social Security contributions and payment of premiums. In other words, if you worked like most people and you pay into this, then when you turn 65, this is your health care that you have. The easy way to remember it is Medicare is for old people, Medicaid is for poor people. And I don't mean that, believe me, insulting in any way. It's just the easiest way to remember it. Medicare is for old people, Medicaid is for poor people or people of limited income. Some old poor people get both. Medicaid is a program jointly administered by federal government and state governments for low-income individuals, obtainable through social services or welfare departments. Hawaii has a real good one. The democratically leaning states like Hawaii typically have good stuff. The Republican ones typically suck. Why? They'll turn away. They'll actually, because we don't want to get into it. But there's a number of Republican governors of different states who have refused additional Medicaid money. Medicaid. Employee retirement through Income Security Act. I don't know anything about this, guys, but people who work for a company and have a pension build up there hopefully have something to protect it. I hope so. That's horrible to. Okay, Hipaa. When you think Hipaa, you should think one thing: privacy. Hipaa, privacy. Hipaa, privacy. Why do I keep saying it? Because the name doesn't really clue you in at all. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Health insurance. I never have figured out what it's got to do with insurance, other than, privacy along with that too. Guarantees renewal and transferability of health insurance coverage, those already have coverage into their dependents. That's news to me. Let's see. High Tech Act. Health Information Technology Economic Clinical Health Act encourages and requires use of various methods of healthcare technology to improve healthcare's objectives. Okay, OSHA. OSHA helps protect you at work, guys. OSHA rules and regulations are intended to prevent injuries and promote job safety. OSHA is authorized to enforce standards through compliant inspection investigation. They can come in and Of course, there's generally, guys, this kind of thing's a good thing. It's a government agency that protects you at work. Some people don't like it. Why? Well, the people that own big businesses, guys, it might cost them quite a bit of money to get the place set up to where it's safe. But, should we let people be injured or killed so this individual can make more profit? Unions and healthcare workers, 1919, American Federation of Labor organized engine room, laundry, and dietary employees, nurses, aides, and other were in 3 San Francisco hospitals. American Nurses Association supports collective bargaining. I'm a liberal, so therefore, of course, I'm an advocate of unions myself. Working conditions, but it depends, Especially years ago, they had some problems. They resorted to violence. Every position in office should have a job description divided into 2 parts: responsibilities of each employee, listing of tasks to be performed by each employee. And they will. That typically the company will have that kind of thing. Procedure manual, handbook. Procedures manual describes in detail the manner in which a task in job description should be carried out. Handbooks provide personnel policies, and related instructions. Collections, meaning when people owe you money. There's still in a doctor's office, guys, quite a bit of cash. It comes. I mean, most of it's insurance, but there's still co-payments and deductibles and stuff. Steps, notification. This is how the collection means. This is the last slide. Putting pressure on the person to try to collect the debt from. Notification, contact the individual, determine if there's a valid reason for failure to pay. Discuss alternative payment schedules. Well, yeah, okay. All right, and that's all for this one. Dr. Tom's going to sign off, and we're going to do Chapter 3 in a moment. So we'll catch you next time.